Hello, it's day 3 at COP23, and today's been really good so far. So I'm in the bond zone again. There are going to be some people walking around because I'm in a more open area than I am usually, but I wanted to kind of get into more of the conference instead of being by a white wall. So I'm by the India's kind of area right now, and there's another stage behind me where there's usually kind of like live music during the night, and then there's exhibitors and everything this way. So I'm right in the middle of everything, but it's about 8 p.m., so most things are dying down. Today I came to the conference a little bit later because I had some work to do this morning, but I went to a couple different sessions. I started in the Bula zone and walked around there for a little bit and explored all 3 of the zones because that half of the conference, which is where the negotiations are happening, is huge. They have the normal UN World Conference Center, and they actually extended it. They have connections that are like covered areas. So you go from, there's 3 different zones, and you go from zone to zone to zone, and I looked in some of the negotiation rooms that are huge, and they have so many seats, and saw people with like headphones on, verse translating for you. And then whenever I came back from the Blue Zone, I took a solar-powered shuttle next to the Rhine River, so it was beautiful. And it took a little bit longer, but at the same time I got to see a little bit more of Germany because I've been inside of the conference so much, and the weather was a little bit nicer today, so there was some sunshine by the end of the day. So when I got to the bond zone, I went to a session on kind of Latin America and how they're adapting to climate change, and so they've been doing a lot of research on food, water, energy nexus, which I know is kind of a hot topic now in sustainability and things going on at ASU. So they've been doing a lot of analyses with that and have come up with the fact that urban areas are really the ones that are struggling in a lot of countries in Latin America because they developed so quickly, but then didn't kind of come with the resilience that they should have. So now people are being affected food-wise and water-wise and by air pollution, and then rural communities are affected also, but in completely different ways. So they're kind of having to deal with these 2 separate things going on, and they really need to start, they wanted to try to figure out ways to intervene. And so then another person presented in the same conference about using housing as a solution, so redeveloping kind of these communities that have been established because of housing or because of lack of housing. So they wanted to start incorporating urban agriculture, doing a lot of local community involvement and development, doing a lot of stakeholder initiative and participatory governance type of things, which we talk about a lot in School of Sustainability curriculum. So it was awesome to see the actual application of what I've been learning in my classes, but at the United Nations. So that was really cool. And that whole session was actually in Spanish, and I was gonna put on headphones and translate, and I was like, nope, I can understand this. And so I sat through the whole thing and actually understood all of it, which was great and exciting to be able to engage in something even though it wasn't in English. And then there were a bunch of different people in that session. They asked amazing questions, and a lot came up about gender and indigenous cultures and how women really need to be taken into consideration as part of this planning process because they're the ones that are negatively impacted by a lot of the things happening with climate change, and same with indigenous peoples as well. I went to a session after that about the environmental adaptation fund, I believe it was, and so they were talking about how they've been doing all these projects in developing countries, especially island nations, and how, again, the key is really involving local people and getting their know-how, because if you go into somewhere and people don't trust you and you try to put your values and what you know and your initiatives onto them, that won't really work because the people aren't invested and things will fail. And one woman was presenting from Antigua, and at the end was kind of hitting home the point that if you're going to donate to countries or try to help people, go directly to the communities that need it, because a lot of the times if you go through the country, everything just isn't as streamlined as it could be, and they don't get the help that they need. So she was really pushing for action directly to affect these places, which I thought was really powerful that she was able to stand up there and say that. And that's kind of the whole theme of what I've been feeling today and the whole conference, is that because Fiji is hosting and they're an island nation that's really vulnerable, it's a less developed country, they're really bringing together all of these different countries that are also feeling the same way and giving them a voice, finally. And I keep hearing that over and over and over again, is that these places that previously nobody was listening to, now they're being heard. And it's this whole awesome spirit of collaboration and innovation and listening and empathy, and it's been awesome. So I had a couple calls with classes today, and they went great. The students were really, really engaged. and they had a lot to say about the negotiations, and they're following them and figuring out what's happening and developing their own opinions about how the US is handling everything and other countries are handling everything. And I'm really impressed with how engaged our young students are with these types of events, and I hope that maybe they could come to them one day soon. So tomorrow I will probably be in this zone again and go to an update in the morning about what's happening with the negotiations, and then I will give my day 4 update. So thanks for listening. Bye. Good night.